that's our superpower, is showing up, playing hard, controlling the controllables, try to be clean on the mound, clean defensively, and then 1 through 9 have an offense that just pesters the pitchers and there's no easy outs.
Welcome to another week, another show of Hawkeye with me, Dave O'Hara. Momentarily, you'll see Rick Heller join us. Yeah, that Rick Heller, Hellerball, head baseball coach for the University of Iowa Hawkeyes. Rick, of course, an Eastern Iowa native from Cardinal of Eldon down by Ottumwa. Of course, as you know, I'm an Iowa native up Northeast area in Postville, but Rick spent some time in Eastern Northeast Iowa playing and coaching for the Upper Iowa Peacocks. Rick, it is always great to talk to you. The first place in the Big Ten currently as we speak and record this on Tuesday afternoon, May 6th. Rick, it is always great to see you. Thanks for taking time during the season. How's everything going with you, my friend?
Oh, thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me. It's been a whirlwind, obviously. You know, we're in week 13 of a 14-week season, and we just had our toughest road trip going out to University of Washington, which is difficult travel getting home. And we got home at 5:15 in the morning yesterday, and so all of us are a little jet lagged and trying to get back into Central Time Zone here this week, and then big weekend coming up for our bye week. We play Oregon State in Des Moines at the iCubs field, and should have big crowds and should be a lot of fun. You know, taking on top 10, a team that's been, I think as high as second or third in the country at one time or another, but just a super program and, really talented team this year. And it'll be a good tune-up for us heading into Oregon next week. And, when you set out in the season, you have your goals, and one of those goals is always to have a chance to win a conference championship, and to be going into the final 2 weeks of the season, and with us only having one Big Ten regular season left against Oregon next weekend, and to have a chance mathematically to win the Big Ten championship. I mean, that's all you can ask of a team. And man, these guys have just been tremendous. I mean, the consistency this ball club has shown since week one, and then week one in the Big Ten, and then the first year of the new Big Ten, and new schedule, and 10-week Big Ten season as opposed to an 8-week in the past. Just couldn't be more happy with a group of guys. They've been a lot of fun to coach, and as you can imagine, when you have a team that plays that consistent, the work ethic and the focus and the want to improve is at an elite level. And that's the story of this team. I mean, they just show up and play hard every day. They show up at practice and give a great effort, in an effort to not only improve physically, but they have intent mentally, and that's a big part of getting better. And as you guys know, and that's kind of what we're trying to do here these last 2 weeks, is just continue to improve and get better.
There's a real interesting special connectivity. No slight to your past teams, but this team especially just has a real Iowa connectivity, Rick.
Yeah, it definitely does, Dave. And if you go back to the day they introduced me as the head coach at Iowa, I believe the first thing I said that when they asked how we were going to turn the program around, and the answer was, we have to be able to keep the best Iowa players, high school players, JUCO players in our state. We have to get them to want to come to Iowa, and that's our job, is to make the program viable to a point that the best kids in our state want to be Hawkeyes. And without baseball at Iowa State and UNI, we're the only game in town if you want to play Division I baseball. And that's what we set out to do. And I feel like we've done a great job of that. And thus, a lot of the success that we've had the last 12 years stems from us being able to keep the majority of the better Iowa kids right here at the University of Iowa, and have pride in going out and beating the teams that are trying to steal them from us, and that's it. We want to, we've done a lot of good things here, but the big picture goals, we haven't made it to Omaha yet, and that's one of them. We want to do it with with Iowa kids, leading the charge, a lot of Iowa kids. And to your point, this year's team is really interesting because you've got Gable Mitchell, who his dad, Brian, is the coach at City High, but Brian was a great player here and was a second baseman here at Iowa. And then, as you said, Wes Obermuller, made it to the big leagues, from the University of Iowa. And now Wes is on our staff in helping out. And then you mentioned Cooper Schulte, whose dad, Justin, the great coach at Southeastern, and was a great pitcher here at Iowa. And then Caleb Wolf is also on our team and played for Justin at Southeastern. And Caleb's dad also played here, and I think with those guys. So it's a pretty cool dynamic to have all those kids playing for us. But it also makes me feel proud that those guys would want their sons to come play for me and our staff. And I think that says a lot to the parents and the recruits out there that when you get that kind of support, sending your son to play here from those guys, I think that sends a pretty good message out that it's a good place to go.
You know what I love about this team too is you even got your first baseman, Bop, the big bopper, Blake Gordon, lays down a bunt to win a game in extra innings, and he actually beat it out. Well, there was no play at first base, but the guy's got some wheels. Big Bop does. So there's
Blake,
so many.
Blake moves okay for a big guy.
Obviously so, but Rick, the important part of laying down that successful bunt, there were 2 strikes on him, foul ball.
Yeah.
He misses, it's strike 3, he's out, and your rally ends, but there was only 1 out, but still the same.
There were
awesome.
2. There was only 1 out, but yeah, no, it was one of those situations where it was a tough night to score runs. Right? It was cold, wind blowing in, drizzling. And it felt like it was one of those games that might go on forever, and nobody could get a hit with runners in scoring position. And the guy they had in the game was throwing hard, and he kind of blew it by Blake the first pitch, and he ends up with a curveball strike. And then I thought he was going to throw a fastball then, and I kind of chickened out. I could put the call on, and he missed with a breaking ball, and I thought he's going to throw him a fastball here. It'll be a good pitch to bunt. And Blake, I knew from our practice that even though Blake's a big guy and a power hitter, he's a really good bunter. I mean, in our drills and stuff, he executes really well, and I knew he wouldn't be afraid. I knew he would get it down, and he did, and that was a big win for us.
That is a great story. Like I say, major league credit to you for having the guts to make that call. And of course, you knew Blake would deliver. But Rick, let's take a break here. We'll come back and talk about that pitching staff, your new pitching coach. Of course, folks, I want to remind you, if you would, please continue to support and help Iowa baseball in their stadium renovation, Duane Banks Stadium on the University of Iowa campus, right across the street from Carver Hawkeye Arena and Kinnick. Please be sure to go to iowabaseball.com or reach out to Rick however you need to. Please, iowabaseball.com. Anything you can do to help with the renovation. Obviously, the product is there on the field, so continue to help these guys and Coach Heller as you know you can and will and have. So thank you in advance for that, viewers. So we'll be back with more of Rick Heller. I'm Dave O'Hara with the Hawkeye TV show. Rick, of course, as you know, head baseball coach of the Iowa Hawkeyes. We'll be back with more Hawkeye in just a few moments.
Hawkeye is brought to you by Better Edge, your ultimate social betting marketplace. With no VIG, you're bound to win more on every bet on Better Edge. Founded by Hawkeye alum James Siles and proud Iowan Greg Kieski, Better Edge delivers an unmatched betting experience. Plus, what's not to love when they're committed to supporting charities and children's hospitals near you? Join the action now. Sign up at betteredge.com/Hawkeye and get $10 to start winning more today. Better Edge, where your social betting means your bets go further and you win more.
Welcome back to Hawkeye with me, Dave O'Hara. Momentarily, you'll see Rick Heller, kind enough to join us for the whole show this week. Rick, of course, Hellerball, head baseball coach, University of Iowa. Rick, I wanted to get back to talking about your pitching staff. You got a new pitching coach in this year. You've had many successful pitching coaches join you over the years, specifically in your dozen years at Iowa. But what I love is that not just one, not just two, but a three-headed starting pitcher monster with, as we mentioned, Cade Obermueller, Reese Buter, and of course Aaron Savory. Let's talk about those guys and talk about the changes in the pitching staff, pitching coach staff, please.
Yeah, for sure. When you look at our record, and especially in the Big Ten, to win that many games and to be in first place in a 17-team, one division league, the only way that happens is to have quality starting pitching that goes deep in the game, and that's kind of it's kind of not the way it is out there in today's college baseball. A lot of the number of innings per starter has dropped significantly. I think the average last year was something like 4.2 innings. And Cade Obermueller on Friday night has been lights out, has gone deep in the game. What an improvement he has made from last year. It's just been a steady growth, and had a solid year last season. Thank goodness Cade was willing to bet on himself, and he turned the draft down, came back to school, and he's just been phenomenal for us on Friday night. And it starts there, because if you're going to the pen in the third, fourth inning, like we had to do quite a bit last season, I mean, that really makes it tough, and it puts you in a scramble. And we've been able to go, Cade Obermueller to either Anthony Watts, who's been solid out of the bullpen, or Brant Hogue. Those two guys have been traditionally the guys we've gone to on Friday night. Dan Wright's been good out of the pen as well. But then on Saturday, boom, Aaron Savory has been equally as lights out, and maybe even the most consistent pitcher from day one on our staff. I mean, you're looking at Aaron. I think, what is he, 7-0 on the season? Pitched a gem on Saturday at Washington and ended up the tough luck loser in that one, as we got walked off in the ninth inning. But Aaron held him to 2 hits in like 7 innings. It was just another outstanding performance by Aaron Savory. And then on Sunday, Reese Buter, he's been lights out as well. I mean, Reese threw as well as I've ever seen him pitch this Sunday, with a lot on the line. We had a couple of really tough losses where we played well. They play their games at night out there, and the ball doesn't carry, and it was really tough to score runs. And so those games ended up nail biters, and we come out on the short end both Friday and Saturday, and then a quick turnaround after a night game, 11:30 a.m. Sunday. We were back out on the field, and Reese went out and threw 7 innings of a shutout, and you couldn't ask for more than that. And just been really super consistent. These last 3-4 weeks, it's been the best I've seen Reese throw, and really happy for him, because Reese had to fight through a rough year last year that didn't go his way. And he handled it like a pro. He handled it like a man, and he went to work on fixing some things, and he worked his tail off during the summer and fall, and he's getting the results now and the payback now, because he's one of the best pitchers in the Big Ten, just like Savory and Obermueller are. But man, it's just been a lot of fun with those guys. And then you got Sean Kinney, our pitching coach, and really the guy who has orchestrated a big part of this turnaround on our staff with our ability to throw more strikes. They compete hard. Our staff up and down is deep, and you can go to a lot of guys if you need to. Sean really set the tone in the fall and pulled the pitching staff together, and they went to work. And he had some older guys that really bought in right away and helped him with the leadership that he needed, and he's just been phenomenal. I mean, Sean calls the pitches, and he absolutely has been just carving teams up here. I mean, we got 8 or 9 shutouts this year. I mean, that's unbelievable. And I mean, we're leading the country in numerous in several pitching statistical categories, and we're tops in the Big Ten in most of the pitching categories. I mean, what a job Sean's done, and he's a great guy, and we're just super blessed and happy that he's with us. Our staff is trying to do the best job we can in keeping our guys' feet where they are, and just keep playing and controlling the things that they have control over. And we've done an awesome job. They have, maybe as good a job or as good a job as any team I've ever coached. If you go back, and they don't look at scores or how close the games were in baseball as much. And I kind of wish they would, because if you go back and look at every game that we've lost this season, I think there's only 2 out of the 15 where we didn't either have a lead or a tie or within 1 in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning of all of those games. And in the Big Ten, I mean, we lost a 1-run game that we made a mistake that cost us 2 runs against Rutgers with the loss there. We lost to Michigan State in 11 innings in the 1 loss in that series. We had a lead against Nebraska in the 8th inning that we gave up. We got walked off twice this past week against Washington. I mean, we had a legit shot at every game we play. And the point in saying that is for a team in a baseball team in a 56-game schedule, there's usually, one you get blowout, one things didn't go well here, that type of thing. This team showed up and competed at an elite level almost every single day of this season. And that's our superpower, is showing up, playing hard, controlling the controllables, try to be clean on the mound, clean defensively, and then 1 through 9 have an offense that just pesters the pitchers, and there's no easy outs. And if you look at statistically, what a job Marty Sutherland has done with our offense this season. That was, I don't know if we talked about it this fall. I think we did, Dave, that the biggest question mark we had with this team is with all the new faces, this team turned over a large percentage of the players from last year. And a lot of people wrote us off as a bottom 10 team, potentially in the Big Ten. And rightly so. I mean, we lost 5 juniors to the draft. We lost 2 recruits to the draft. So 7 players we lost to the draft in July. And then that was coming off a team where our catcher, our shortstop, and our center fielder were all seniors. So with what I'm saying on the hitting is, when you have that many new guys, to get them to buy into our system and the training and the things that we have to do to get guys ready to compete against the pitching we're going to see. Sometimes it takes a year for that to happen on the offensive side. And the job Marty and Mitch Bowe and Tyler Cropley and those guys have done, but Marty leading the charge to make this a true team offense in every sense of the word. And statistically, when you look at it, we're leading the Big Ten in hitting with all those new guys. And, a credit to those guys for the work and buying in, but an extra credit to Marty Sutherland and the job he did instilling that in the guys and getting them to buy into our plan, our philosophy.
And of course, the renovations going on and fundraising for Iowa baseball to get Dwayne Banks Stadium rebuilt or redone, and all the necessary changes that need to happen. The product on the field, your guys are class guys off the field. The great program you built in your dozen years at Iowa. It now needs to match in facilities, and we're getting there, Rick. But again, I want to implore our viewers, go to iowabaseball.com or any other way to reach out to the Hawkeyes that Rick Heller at baseball, head baseball coach, and continue to help financially support Iowa baseball, because Lord knows they will and willingly deserve it. They're just getting everything done the right way, and always appreciate your insights on that, Rick. But we'll be back to close out the show. He's Rick Heller, head baseball coach, University of Iowa, Heller Ball. I'm Dave O'Hara. This is Hawkeye. We'll be back to close out the show in just a few moments.
Hi, this is Joe Mershman from Mershman Seeds. Substitutions cost you money. Why take their seconds when you can have our first choice? Here's Ben Paper to tell you more about Mershman Power Core Enlist Corn.
We are way ahead of Big Seed on this one. This corn has 4 different post-herbicide tolerances, multiple modes of action for above-ground pests, and it is some of the highest-yielding corn genetics that are out on the market today.
If you're one of the many that got substituted on your corn hybrid last spring, contact your local Mershman Seeds dealer today and ask them about Power Core Enlist Corn. From Mershman Seeds, your friend in the field.
Welcome back to Hawkeye with me, Dave O'Hara. Momentarily, you'll see Rick Heller, head coach of Iowa baseball, Heller Ball, will be joining us on screen here in just a moment. kind enough to agree to do the whole show with us. Rick did today, and the first two segments were out of sight, and so I can't even imagine how great this third and final segment's going to be. Rick, you've joined me on this television show many times over the years, and also on my radio shows. Want to talk about something that I'm going to say, and you can respond however you want, but you mentioned it earlier in the show, so I got to get in my soapbox here just for a second as we record this on Tuesday afternoon, May the 6th. Rick, we know that RPI, or I know, the fans, the viewers know, RPI, NCAA rankings, whatever other ranking service, they love the Mason-Dixon line. They love the Sun Belt. They love the West, the Desert. All these players and teams that are fantastic, like yourself, your team included, in the upper Midwest, the Northeast, are often overlooked. And you and I have talked in the past about maybe moving the opening season back a little bit, and then having the College World Series be over the 4th of July during Major League Baseball's All-Star break instead of during Memorial Day, or starting over Memorial Day with these conference tournaments and NCAA tournament. Rick, I just think there's a lot of great teams and players overlooked in the upper Midwest and the Northeast, and it's time to get some just desserts here.
Oh, it definitely is, Dave. I think the window of opportunity is still there. We've talked about that before, but with all this going on in college athletics and finances becoming even more important at schools that have finances, now that we're in the revenue sharing era and everyone's having to come up with, all the power conferences are having to come up with $21 million to pay the players out of the budget. I guess my thought is maybe we're at a point where those in the SEC, ACC, Southern Big 12 can get over the fact that whatever silly advantage they think they're gaining by playing in the winter, starting in mid-February, when all of the northern teams have to travel the first 4 weeks, which is a big reason why the RPI it doesn't help us. And we could move the season back, 3 weeks, even 3 weeks would be fantastic. And the cost savings, we could start playing at home, week 1, or maybe you go, drive a little south and not have to fly to open the season up, that third week in March. But we're probably playing at home all the time if we can open the season even in mid-March. But everyone knows all the teams will make more money, and a lot of teams will make money and save money. And I just feel like that it's time to do that, because money is really important. And hopefully it happens. And we've got a great commissioner in Tony Petitti, and he's a baseball guy at heart, was a catcher in college. And, hopefully Tony's able to work a deal with the other power conferences, and we do something that should have been done 50 years ago. And unfortunately we're still playing in the winter, and then just to market our game. Our game is in a great place.
Rick, I got to ask you, with your pitching prowess, or your eye for pitching, and we talked about Sean Kinney being in there, you guys got to grade, or you have to grade me out. Ben McCollum, new Hawkeye men's basketball coach, came out and threw a first pitch. He just smiled with me off camera here. Let's bring it on camera. How do you grade Ben McCollum's fastball? Did he throw some junk? Give me some ideas here.
I thought Ben's arm action was really clean. It looked good, and I was really impressed. He went out there and fired a strike, and it was good.
And I know you got to be excited. You and I have talked about this, and let's close out the show with this. We've talked in the past about the great vibe around Hawkeye athletics, period, with the coaching staff. But it really is the collaboration with you Hawkeye coaches in the athletic department, with all the good that Beth Getz has done since her arrival a little over a year ago now. Rick, what great feelings we all have for Hawkeye coaches.
Oh, for sure. If you look at it, and I want to word this the right way, but I just hope that the Hawkeye fans realize how special this time is and has been. We've been on a run where we're winning in everything. And a lot of times with half as much support as the people we're fighting against. And the coaches group here is just phenomenal, because they overachieve. They're grinders. They work hard. They get after it. They do it the right way. And Gary Barta hired some great coaches, and now under Beth's leadership, this is just going to thrive.
Rick, it is always a pleasure to talk to you. Best of luck. Go Hawks as always. Hawkeye baseball again, fans, viewers. If you can continue to help them out, support them. IowaBaseball.com with the renovations going on at Dwayne Banks Stadium. Rick, best of luck. We'll catch up with you this summer. Best of luck in the closing out the regular season, but also in the Big Ten tourney and the NCAA national tourney, the big dance. Rick, all the best to you as always. Thank you so much for taking the time. I look forward to catching up with you soon.
All right, thanks a lot, Dave. And hey, come out and see us. Let's pack Banks Field when we play Oregon in 2 weeks, and then we'll see a bunch of Hawk fans over in Omaha when we go to the Big Ten tournament that next week. So
can't wait, Rick.
Come out and help us.
Yeah, amen, and can't wait. Rick, it's always a pleasure. Thanks so much. Good to see you again.
All right, thanks, Dave.
You're very welcome. For Rick Heller, I'm Dave O'Hara. Thanks again to my production partners at Better Edge and BetterEdge.com, Greg Kayaski and James Stiles, and to you, the viewers. That's all from us at Hawkeye. Thanks to all of you.